good is that finals are here. Let's take a look at the TAB team selections for finals week 1. For the Panthers, Nathan Cleary returns from that shoulder injury. Young, Tupou, Butcher and Collins return for the Roosters. Pappenhausen to play after that injury in round 26. Sherry Burton back in the starting side for the Bulldogs, and Tom Trbojevic with that AC injury to the shoulder named to return. But we'll start with the big one. Cleary is back for the Panthers, going for 4 premierships in a row, Crawls.
It's incredible, isn't it? Like I don't think we can doubt Nathan anymore. Every situation, he just turns up. There's not a player in the game that puts in better preparation. He's a clutch player. He handles the big moments better than anyone. And even with a bung shoulder, he's a massive in for the Panthers.
Yeah, I remember him coming back, a couple of weeks ago, kicked the field goal against the Dolphins. I think he was out for 8 weeks or whatever. So, yeah, they need him. I think game management, running game. Obviously, defensively, he's going to get targeted, but I think he'll handle it.
Well, you mentioned targeted. He's coming up against Crichton this weekend. And I think a few of the Roosters have said that he's going to be going at Nathan, so he'll be tested.
Well, we saw Angus's performance last weekend against South Sydney. I mean, he was just a man on a mission. And he has been all year, to be fair. And I think it would be ridiculous to think that Angus and the Roosters won't be targeting Nathan. And to be fair, I don't see how Nathan's going to be 100%. Like, there's going to be some damage there.
Yeah, that was 2 front rowers there that he went through.
Yeah.
Yeah. He's mate, the way he's playing at the moment, the way he's going to, and that's not showing disrespect to Nathan Cleary. I think it's showing respect. I think if they beat Penrith, they need to take, as much of Nathan Cleary's confidence out of him.
Take his time and space off him. Now,
time and space, make him.
You have to pressure him. Now, you mentioned that he won't be 100%. Crawls, you're concerned a little bit about his return?
What I found interesting is that, look, the tackle where he popped his shoulder in the game against Melbourne, if you watch this closely, King puts his hands around him, and there's another angle to this tackle where you can actually see, and I'm not saying it's an illegal tackle, but it shows how easily this popped out, and he'd been carrying this injury. He clutches his hands, he pulls them together. As Nathan tries to push off the ground, I imagine that's when he's injured his shoulder, because he was all right up until that point. So it kind of shows you how easy it can happen. He hasn't had surgery. He's coming back not at 100%, which the club has admitted. And Angus Crichton would look at that tackle and think, beauty, we'll give that a go too, wouldn't you think?
It's a good point you make, because they've managed and monitored this injury for the whole year. Apparently, he did it in the pre-season. So he hasn't had surgery, and I believe he will after season's end. So this is an example of...
He could be as strong as the other one.
He could come back week 1, to your point, Crawls, and it could happen again. Listen, that's worst case scenario.
Yes.
But it's a possibility. So it's going to be interesting to see how he does hold up this week, Gordy.
Yeah, absolutely. And obviously it's not, a bump and barge injury. It's more of a grabbing and a holding. So, and there's no doubt, look, I'm not a doctor, but that can't be 100%. It can't be fully fit. Can it?
Well, no, as I said, no, I don't think it can be either, particularly when you consider that post-season surgeries definitely on the radar as well. Now, we're going to learn a lot about Jerome Luai, guys. Like, in this situation, for everything we're talking about, if the Roosters are coming after the star half, then what is Luai going to do? He has to take pressure off Nathan.
Yeah.
He has to.
And he probably will.
And everything we've learned already about Jerome stepping up this season, it's about to go to another level in my eyes.
Yeah.
They've also got Isaiah Yeo, Dylan Edwards.
Oh.
They're a champion team that knows more about this time of the year than any of their current teams.
Yep.
And they know they have it in them to go to the next level. And with those sort of that cattle around, like we've seen Isaiah Yeo this year, he's been quite incredible.
Mate, even Brandy said, but they have struggled the last 6 weeks. Normally when they've gone in, they've just been on cruise control, waiting for this time of year. I'm not saying that they're limping in, but they're not on cruise control where they've been in the past.
Even in that
I'm not saying they can't win.
Even in that game against Melbourne, though, before Nathan's injury, they were off their game a bit that day. Melbourne were taking their time. Nathan looked a little bit, unsure on a couple of occasions. So did others in the team. They're probably not at the level they were in previous years, but they do have the runs on the board.